Welcome back to another video, guys. This is Haloist here, and today we will be touching on the second area of Border Pact, which is Glazed Arc. Now before we start, I know that when this video is published, it'll probably be 2022 already, so I'd like to wish all you guys a happy new year, and let's get on with the video. Okay, so Glazed Arc seems to be the area that most people have trouble with, especially the third stage, where there are multiple hanged men that you have to defeat to get through. By now, most of you should have at least 4 constructs at 5.5k BP, so reviving them isn't an issue. However, I feel like most people are just unsure about when they should be reviving their constructs and when they shouldn't. Generally, there is no hard and fast rule regarding this. If you have practiced enough times and have enough experience in the stages, I feel like you should just revive and try your luck. Of course, if you are lacking cogs, please do not waste your cogs on this game mode yet until you have an abundance of them. You're better off spending those cogs upgrading your constructs and memories instead of wasting them here. With that out of the way, let's move on to the first stage, which is Reunion Pavilion. There's nothing really notable about this stage, except that the first fight and third fight have enemies that are weak to lightning, so you might want to use lightning DPS there. The mob layout for this stage is as follows. In the first fight, the first wave of enemies are 3 blubbers, followed by the second wave, which is 1 blubber and 2 ball wheels. In the second fight, there are 3 ball wheels. And in the third fight, the first wave of enemies is 1 blubber and 2 ball wheels, and the second wave is 1 hanged man. I personally chose to use Bianca Veritas on the first team due to her ability to snipe enemies at range. And since you have to fight 6 enemies on the first fight and only 4 enemies on the third fight, using her in the first fight felt more beneficial to me. Now let's begin the first fight. For the first wave, if you are using a ranged construct, just take note of the rock throws if you are too far away from the blubbers. For the second wave, just take note that the blubber has a radiation and lightning shield buff, so it is better to take care of the ball wheels first and then focus on the blubber. For the second fight, if you are using a melee construct, just take note of when the ball wheels use their spin to win move. When they do that move, it is better to back off first and then restart your assault once the move has finished. Trying to brute force your way through might get you stun locked to death.
终于能提起气技术，我也可以。我的力量让你满足了吗？
Now for the third fight, the first wave is again 1 blubber and 2 ball wheels, but the second wave is the first time where you will meet a hanged man. Now if you are still having trouble with the hanged man's moveset, you can watch Rexland's guide if you want to know more. Okay, let's now move on to the Dream Terrorist. The only thing to note here is that enemies in the first fight take more physical damage. And the mob layout is as follows. In the first fight, the first wave of enemies consists of 1 Kamui and 2 ball wheels. The second wave has 2 ball wheels. In the second fight, the first wave consists of 1 blubber and 2 Kamuris, and the second wave consists of 2 blubbers. And in the third fight, there will be 1 Yazi and 2 Kamuris. I would highly recommend you to use a ranged construct in the third fight, since enemies there have radiation. Getting close to these enemies will result in unnecessary HP loss. Now let's start the fight. Most enemies in this fight have a lightning shield buff, so just make sure to always check your feet and see if there are any red circles to dodge.
我的力量让你满足了吗？
The second fight doesn't really have anything notable, except that you might want to focus on the blubber first before moving on to the Cameroons. The third fight is a little more dangerous, and Yatsu has a lightning shield. She is quite tanky, so it is better off to take care of the Cameroons first before taking her out.
主不会原谅你的，愿主保佑。主不会原谅你的。消亡吧！愿主保佑。忏悔吧！ 回吧，让毒气化你罪孽深重的灵魂吧！忏悔吧！主不会原谅你的。 主不会原谅你的，主不会原谅，让毒气化你罪孽深重的灵魂吧。是一场爽快的战斗。
Moving on to the third stage, which is Cloud Passage. This is where it gets fun, since we have to fight 4 hanged men on the first 3 fights. The fourth and final fight isn't that much easier either, cause lo and behold, we have radiation buff again. Therefore, I would highly recommend you to use a ranged DPS on the 4th fight. The mob layout for this stage is as follows. In the first fight, there will be 1 hanged man and 2 ball wheels. In the second fight, there will be 1 hanged man and 2 Kamuris. In the third fight, for the first wave, there will be 1 blubber and 2 ball wheels, and on the second wave, there will be 2 hanged men. And finally, for the fourth fight, there will be 1 Yazi and 2 Kamuris. Now let's get started. For the first fight, I would highly recommend you to take out the 2 ball wheels first, since if you get caught by the hangman and the spin to win moves by then, you're pretty much dead.
伤到了，有点下色。一会儿后悔。伤到了，有点下色。一会儿后悔。欢迎爱。开启。你会后悔。欢迎二。下次可以再缜密一点，虽然现在也很不错。
The second fight is a little more tricky, since the hangman has a lightning shield. For that reason, I would highly recommend that you focus on the Kamuris first and then take out the hangman. Also, don't forget that the hangman has a bomb buff, so when he dies, he'll actually spawn a bomb around him. You definitely do not want to get hit by this bomb and die, and be forced to use a revive. third fight, the blubber has a lightning shield, so as usual, take out the ball wheels first, then focus on the blubber. The two hanged men on the second wave have a frail debuff, so they actually take more damage from you. If you still have trouble dealing with multiple hanged men at once, I would highly recommend you to save your ultimates to spam it on them.
是在深渊中吧？我也可以。我也可以。我也可以。继续，我也可以。继，我也可以。继，我也可以。太慢了，我也可以。让深渊的业火了结一切。我的力量让你满足了吗？
Now the fourth fight is almost the same as the third fight in the second stage. Try to take out the Kamuris first and abuse your range advantage if you're using a ranged construct.
我不会原谅你的。我不会原谅你的。愿主保佑。 我不会原谅你的。消亡吧，让主净化你罪孽深重的灵魂吧。消亡吧。 忏悔吧。 忏悔吧，主不会原谅你的。主不会原谅你的。让主净化你罪孽深重的灵魂吧。忏悔吧。
Well, that's it for Glazed. I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you'd like to continue supporting me, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel as well. I'll see you guys in the next video.